What's going on, everybody? Hope everybody's doing well today, staying safe, staying healthy. Just want to start out this video today just with a sincere thank you, to everybody who's reached out, whether it be via social media or privately or in any other shape or form over the last few days, just for the encouragement. It truly means a lot. I'm going to be a little bit nervous during this first video. Please, forgive the nervous tics, the filler words, the likes, the and anything like that. So, this is the hard part for me, guys. This is the part, of this ministry, of this endeavor where, I'm feeling the push, I'm feeling the growth, where God is challenging me. If it would have been a blog post or something, I could type out really quick and do some studying and stuff with, that would have been easy. But, putting myself out there, making these videos, consistently watching them back 3, 4, 5 times over, listening to myself talk, seeing myself on video for so long, it's this is the nervous part for me. So again, I most certainly appreciate everybody's everybody's love and support as well, especially since I heard from people I haven't talked to in a long time, and that means a lot that you still care what I have to say, and you still support me after all these years. So it means a lot. Again, a sincere thank you for sure. Welcome to Show Me Your Faith, though. This first video might be just a tad bit longer than the other ones. Again, I'm hoping to keep everything between about 10 to 20 minutes max. Just wanted to take a couple of minutes here just for a brief introduction to kind of let you know what you were getting yourself into. So here at Show Me Your Faith, again, check out the website, showmeyourfaith.com. I'm going to try to get the videos uploaded onto there as well. Also, that's where all the text versions of the blog posts will be. Check out the About section on there as well. I want to make sure that these posts here are raw, are honest, are transparent. When we start getting into, the political spectrum, into, social justice issues, to racial injustice, things like that, things where we might have a little bit of a different opinion on, it might get a little uncomfortable for people. It might get, a little bit upsetting. I can't give you anything but, the way that I feel, though. I can't give you anything, besides what I feel is the truth. I'm going to try to keep all of it, as faith-rooted as possible. Again, we might disagree on some things, moving forward, though, and that's okay. I want this to drive discussion. I want this, to drive all of us taking a longer look at, how we can come and put aside our differences and unify together, as a people, as a Christian group, as a body of Christ, and, probably most importantly, as a country here, in America, between Christians and non-Christians. Well, these first couple of videos here are probably going to be a little bit more on the safe side. I want everybody to get a chance to kind of get to know me a little bit first, get to know my heart, to get to, kind of build a rapport with you guys before we start throwing any haymakers or anything, like that. So this one might be a little bit more faith-oriented here. We're going to talk about quitters do win today. So what we're going to discuss is why and how sometimes just letting go, walking away is exactly what you need to do. So we've all heard the stories, guys. We've all watched the movies. Of the great heroes and protagonists who fight through it all, who overcome all the odds, who never give up in order to save the world and get the guy or girl of their dreams and defeat the villain and everything like that. I'm a big superhero nerd myself. I've given my $10 at the movie theater. Out of the billions that the superhero movies gross at the box office every time they come out. So big fan of all that. I know we all love a good protagonist story. We all love to envision ourselves as that great protagonist, as that hero of our own stories as well. We all like to rely on our own strength probably a lot more than we should, to be honest. So the question I want to pose today for everyone is, what if we were called not to fight? What if sometimes the best outcome for everybody in the situation would be simply just to walk away and be done with it? Sounds kind of boring and anticlimactic, right? Can you imagine, an Avengers movie, where the heroes don't come together at the end to defeat the villain and save the world? Can you imagine if we wouldn't have gotten Endgame after Infinity War? There would have been an uproar. It wouldn't have been the coronavirus to shut the world down. It would have been, the superhero nerds, storming the movie theaters and Marvel Universal Studios trying to find those other movies. Would we have stuck around for 9 seasons of The Office? honest, if Jim would have given up on Pam and she would have married Roy, probably not. That doesn't even sound right. The point is I know those were very superficial and basic examples and stuff, but we have a never give up, you're strong enough, fight through it all mentality kind of beaten into our brains by what seems like every piece of culture we engage in today, every single conversation that we have. And let's just be honest, that's not the right answer sometimes. I often feel like we get stuck in unhealthy situations, whether they be, physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, anything of the sort, longer than we should. Again, because we often find ourselves relying on our own strength, in order to try and make things better rather than just letting go. So the goal of today, longest introduction ever, I know, I promise all of them aren't going to be 6-minute introductions, but the goal of today is we're going to look at ways that we can break the chains of pride, of security, of fear, of complacency, in order to move forward, in order to push forward towards our goals, in order to let go of some things that may be slowing us down or holding us back. This is probably going to be a little bit more of one of the personal ones I do as well. Again, I'm really big on relatability. I'm really big on developing a rapport with you guys. I want you guys to know my heart. I want you guys to know, who I am, where I'm coming from, especially when we start to get into other topics that may be a little bit more divisive and stuff like that. And again, I want you guys to know me first, so I don't just seem like some crazy person, rambling off on you and yelling at people. So let's just kind of dive right into it. So one of the things that really set this entire ministry off, to be honest, there's no show me your faith without this, is I actually ended up losing my job a couple months ago. I know that 95% of you guys out there don't know that. I don't really talk too much about my professional life publicly. Again, that was always something that I just did, did my job, busted my butt, did it well, and went home after that. Never really something I tried to, to intertwine with my personal life or, especially social media updates on my job or anything like that. So, to be blunt with you guys, I was actually fired from my job. July 30th, that was a Thursday of this year during a global pandemic. It has been extremely difficult to talk about. I really wrestled with whether or not I was going to put this in the video, but this is probably, one of the more powerful aspects of it, so we got to have it in here. It's embarrassing, definitely embarrassing. It's frustrating, and, it still even confuses me a little bit to this day. I don't want to dive into the specifics of, of what happened and the mistake I made and how it was handled and stuff like that. Not throwing any shade at anybody, especially not my previous employer. They were generally, really good to me. Again, I just really didn't feel like I got the closure that I was looking for there. But again, like I said, I'll save that for another segment because I actually want to utilize that, later on down the road, with a different topic. So to kind of back up a little bit here, during the time we were closed for the coronavirus down here in South Carolina, we don't really care about the coronavirus down here, to be honest with you guys. We were only closed for like a month and a half, 2 months. I think I ended up getting like 6 or 7 weeks off of work from the gym. And during that time, I really began to feel like, for some reason, there was a shift coming in my professional life. Keep in mind, I've been doing this for about 5.5 years now. Been the general manager at my job, for 2 different locations for about 3 years now. So it was a very uneasy time, for sure. It's not something that I was actively seeking out. Again, I just kind of began feeling like the Lord, was going to shift something around, was going to move me. Something was about to happen. And to be honest with you guys, I could not accept it. I wrestled with God about this. I'm like, hey, God, don't know if you've heard, man, but, I'm pretty good at this job, not to be arrogant or anything. I make a good salary here. I've had a couple of promotions. I pay my tithes. I'm faithful. And, I don't feel like, I'm ready for this. I'm not ready to move yet. Also, God, again, not sure if you're aware, not sure if you're looking down, but just moved down to Myrtle Beach from Charlotte about 9 months ago because of this job. And you're telling me that this might not be here, or it might be time to let this thing go here in a little while? Not sure about that one, man. So I ended up having a really good conversation with one of my best friends is actually my current pastor as well, about the situation. He told me straight up, he's like, Jordan, man, like, I know how much you love this job. I know how hard you work here. I've seen the sacrifices that you make. If you're feeling like this, there's a reason for it. We need to start looking at what's next. We need to start, figuring out some different things, and we need to start praying about this. And to be honest with you guys, I neglected to do any of that. I failed to heed that advice. Again, I feel like I got into a very prideful state where I just said, hey, man, I'm the manager here. I run this show. I'm going to work my way through this. I'll change up whatever I need to change up. I'll do whatever I need to do in order to rejuvenate myself so that this feeling of change will go away, because, God, I am not ready for any kind of change right now. I'm not ready to step out of this current life that I'm in. As we just talked about a few minutes ago, it ended up being taken from me. Again, something I felt was a fairly minor mistake at my job turned into me pretty much being fired almost on the spot. And it kind of left me without a backup plan, because I had failed to look, to identify, to actively walk by faith during this time. So again, I failed to walk away. I know that God's timing is perfect. I know that God has a sovereign plan for our life. However, I also know that my timing and our timing as human beings is absolutely not perfect. So while I don't think that God, specifically took this job for me, or wanted me to be unemployed, or wanted me to stress out about money or anything, something I haven't done in a long time, I do believe that, that God allowed me to make this mistake, used it as a disciplinary thing, and also used it, in turn to set something in motion that was probably already overdue. The next example I kind of want to dive into you guys here, not to get, too specific or throw shade at anybody else or anything, but again, I've also never been one to break off a romantic relationship. Never once in my life have I been the one to initiate the breakup of a relationship. Been cheated on, used, manipulated. I've had longer relationships where I just knew the love and the affection and everything wasn't there where it needed to be. Again, no shade at anybody. I probably had a bigger hand in those than they did. But, again, I have a problem letting go, man. I have a problem breaking away from people. Same thing with friendships. Let me ask you guys a funny question real quick. We can all laugh about this here for a second. You guys ever been in a friendship or anything where you knew you were the better friend? Like, you knew beyond a shadow of a doubt, like, that you were the better friend. Like, man, it's not a competition or nothing. We're not out here competing against each other. But if we are, like, I'm whipping you right now. You drive 75% of the time. You go out. You do all the calling and texting to make plans. You guys go through the cookout drive-through at midnight. You're not trying to stress out the drive-through worker with a whole bunch of different orders. So you're like, hey, bro, I got you this time. Just pick me up next time. Ain't no problem. And they never got you next time. We've all been there. We've all had that kind of, superficial level, of friendships and stuff like that. But I want to dive a little bit deeper into it. Have you guys ever been, yoked up with someone, ever had a deep connection with someone, friends or family, where you just knew that it was unhealthy, where you just knew that, that your physical state, your mental health, maybe your spiritual health was negatively affected by involving yourself with this person, by associating with someone? Definitely failed to have walked away from those. I feel like oftentimes, we get into this, this train of thought when we're dealing with people, especially our family, that, we have to be strong for them, man. We have to be there to pick them up every time that they're down. We have to carry them when they can't carry themselves. And, to be honest with you guys, that's just not it. That is just not it. Again, you're not required to carry anybody's dead weight, man. You're really not. You're required to carry your own cross. Galatians 6:2 calls us to bear each other's burdens, but does not call us to bear or carry anyone else's cross. Again, we are only so strong to drag dead weight behind us for so long. And oftentimes, too, we have to be careful, associating with people that, that we may be unequally yoked with, because, again, our health can be negatively affected by this. We talked Galatians 6:2. Let's backtrack here to Galatians 6:1, talking about, us who are spiritual, restoring our brothers and sisters who are in sin, but not being tempted ourselves along the way either, though. You ever ended up in therapy because you were trying to be somebody else's therapist? You ever ended up in sin because you were trying to stop someone else to stop sinning? Listen, some of us are letting people drag us to hell with them. I'll say it again. The Lord spoke this to me, I feel like very clearly while I was going through these preparations. Some of us are letting people drag us to hell with them. It was funny. I'm typing this up, man. I'm putting my notes in the blog together, and I'm like, okay, cool. I'm like, not trying to get all crazy spiritual with this. Some people are letting us drag them down with them, and the Lord's like, no. Some of you are letting people drag you to hell with them. So again, failing to walk away from these things, man, again, it leads to anger, to resentment, to bitterness, to sin. Again, don't be afraid to let go. Don't be afraid to walk away from some people. Do things the right way. But again, if you're unequally yoked with someone, you begin the process of being in sin by allowing yourself to be held back, from these people and these circumstances. I want to talk, real quick about two specific things here that often hold us back. These are two things that have definitely, kind of eaten at me as well. I feel like my determination, my perseverance, things like that, are often rooted in pride. And I don't feel like we realize that until we stop working on it. Again, I told you guys I'm a hard worker. I work diligently. I have this mentality kind of, again, beaten into my brain that I am strong enough to outwork pretty much any kind of situation. If things aren't good, I will work hard enough or put forth a better effort in order to make them better. And again, it's a good thing up to a point. Perseverance is great until it turns into rebellion. How long are we willing to walk down the same tunnel chasing this proverbial light at the end that never gets any brighter, that never gets any closer? Some of us have been walking down the same tunnel for, days, weeks, months, years, and have never gotten any closer to seeing this light on the other side. And fear as well, guys. Fear is so often disguised, as reality, as realism. Don't get me wrong, you have to, self-analysis is a wonderful thing. Self-awareness is a wonderful thing. You got to know your value. You got to know what you're capable of. But oftentimes, too, we often justify our fears. We often justify not dreaming big. We often justify sticking around in a situation, especially if it's a monetary thing or something, by a quick check of our bank account, by a quick analysis of our lifestyle. We're afraid to break off from people because we don't want to be sitting at home by ourselves on Friday and Saturday night because all of our friends are getting engaged and having babies and we're still single, or we're still in a relationship and we don't want to go back to being the single friend and the third wheel and the fifth wheel and the seventh wheel in the friend group. I feel like Peter a lot of times, man. I see Jesus walking out on the water and I'm like, man, like, I want to be out there with him. Like, I want to know that's Jesus. I want to go to him. Like, Lord, call me out of the boat. And once we get out of the boat, we're like, oh, crap, the wind's blowing, we see the wind, we see the waves, and, we start to drown because we look down and, all we see is the water there. All we see is the emptiness that's underneath us. We see ourselves walking away from the boat, from the comfortability, things like that, from the stable job, from the friends that we've had for so long, from the church we've been at for 10, 15 years or so, it can be scary, guys. It really can. And, I think there's a very thin line between contentment and between complacency in these situations. So I really just wanted to come to you guys today. Thanks for bearing with me here for those specific examples. I just wanted to come to you guys today again to encourage you guys to take an honest look at your life, man, to identify some areas and where you need to let some things go. Those areas are probably going to be, pretty obvious. Again, please don't get this twisted. I'm not, calling anybody to, go quit your job. Please don't slap down a 2-week notice on your boss's desk tomorrow. Please don't walk off your job site as soon as this video ends up, nothing like that. Don't start, ghosting people. Don't start mass deleting contacts out of your phone or anything like that. Again, there's a right and wrong way to do things. We want to make sure that we're walking by faith, but then again, we also want to make sure that we're being diligent with this as well, that we're being mindful of our current situations, and that we're being discerning and hearing from God, and that we're seeking advice from our pastors, from our therapists, our counselors, our friends, our family, our confidants, from the people that we trust, so that we can make sure that if we move, we're moving to the right area. We're moving towards Jesus. We're moving towards our future. You don't want to get out of the boat and Jesus ain't out there. I promise you don't. So again, just take an honest look at your life. Again, start identifying these things. If it's a vocational thing, update your resume, send out a few emails, talk to your boss, let them know how you're feeling. Check out some available jobs. Again, if it's a friendship thing, if it's a romantic relationship, if it's anything, involving another person or a situation, communicate with someone about it, have those difficult conversations, be a mature adult and talk to them about it. Wear your mask while you do, be safe out there. Again, you just want to make sure, again, that you're doing the best that you can to adequately prepare yourself, for the future. It's always funny, one of my old pastors back in Charlotte used to always talk about, be careful praying for patience, because, your patience is going to be tested. Some people are going to test you. You're going to have to sit in some extra traffic. God, when God answers that prayer, it might be a little bit more frustrating than you think it is. He's not just going to give you extra patience. Same thing here. When we begin to pray, dangerous and bold things like, Lord, remove some things from my life, that are not of you, that aren't pleasing to you, that may be holding me back, even if I don't recognize it, Lord, remove these things, set me on this right path. Whenever he starts doing that, you want to make sure that you're ready to move. You want to make sure you got your hiking boots on, you're ready to hike up the next mountain. So again, just be mindful of that. Be honest with yourself. Again, seek prayer, seek counsel on this. And more importantly, be ready to move whenever God calls you to move. Don't wait until it's too late. Don't end up, in a bad situation, again, because you held on to something way too long. Life is way too short and too unpredictable. I know that's cliche, but for us to hold on to anything, for too long, for us to be inefficient with how we use our time, for us to sacrifice for people and places and things that aren't willing to invest that back into us. Let's stop pouring into empty containers, man, and allow ourselves to pour into something that's sustainable, man, to put our hope into something that's sustainable. So again, I appreciate you guys, man. I hope you guys have enjoyed this first video. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel. Reach out to me if you need anything. Again, the links to my social media pages and stuff are on the website. Of course, we'll be sharing this on Facebook and everything as well. I'm excited to continue on with this. First video went a little bit better than I thought I would. Fifth time's a charm. So I'll see you guys again on Thursday. Again, we're going to be doing these video segments and these vlogs every Thursday. Thursday, we're going to kind of be piggybacking off of this a little bit, with the relationships we have with people. We're going to be talking about, the burden of being the strong friend. How oftentimes, healthy people end up unhealthy because they're consistently, again, pouring out into everyone and everything else and not allowing themselves to be poured back into or refreshed. So for all my leaders out there, all my managers, all my pastors, all my strong people and stuff like that, this one here is for you. Come check this out, and I think we'll have a great time and be blessed. So again, appreciate you guys. Love you very much, and God bless. Enjoy the rest of your Monday.